This is the ZOLINK 600S. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, Leopatzo Productions. Thanks very much for tuning in. In today's video, I'm going to be showing with you guys and sharing with you guys how I have it set up and a bunch of cool features that I like about this 600S from SHIMBOL. This is a wireless transmission system. Here's my camera. I installed the 600S with my camera via HDMI. I'm going to be able to power it via two options: with a battery, which is a Sony style MPF style battery, or we can also power it with a USB Type-C port, which basically means we can power it with a USB power bank. But instead of using a USB power bank, I've just mounted simply a V-mount battery. So this is a V-mount battery that has two D-tap ports, which is supplying about 14-15 volts. And I'm using those 14-15 volts actually to power my monitor. So at the front of the V-mount battery, there are two USB ports, and those two USB ports are each supplying 5 volts output. The USB to USB-C cable that's included, I just plug it here on the 5 volt USB output on the V-mount battery, and on the other end over here on the 600S transmitter, I just simply power it via the USB-C, and that's going to last for several hours because the power consumption over here of the transmitter is only about 5 watts as it says in the manual, so that is very low power consumption. So I will mention the 600S also does not have an internal fan, so that means that it's going to be completely silenced. There is no fan inside this unit at all, so that's why that we have a bunch of ventilation here at the side, at the bottom of the unit, a bunch of little holes so the unit can breathe and it's not going to get too hot. I want to talk about the mounting options. We do have two mounting options on both the transmitter and the receiver. As you can see, it just connects via 1/4-inch threads via the bottom of the unit or at the side of the unit. So if I go ahead and hold my rig and I want it to film, this is basically what I'm going to be doing, holding the rig over here on my right hand because I'm right-handed, and over here I'm going to support the camera at the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and be able to focus and be able to zoom in, and I can simply now see over here with the monitor that's right here in my face. So it's just an overall nice setup. What does wireless mean? Well, how far is wireless? Well, this unit is going to allow us to go 600 feet, or if you're using meters, it's going to be 180 meters. I do plan to hopefully do a distance test in the near future, so look out for that. So now that we know how to power the transmitter and we know how to mount it and a couple cool features, let's continue to dive in and look a little bit closer over here, as we do have an HDMI and an SDI connection. I'm going to be taking the HDMI output from my camera body, and I'm going to be sending it right here at the side of the transmitter via the HDMI cable. If you notice right over here at the bottom of the transmitter and the receiver, we have an SDI connection. SDI connection is basically similar to HDMI. Some cameras don't have an SDI connection. An SDI connection is going to be a little bit smoother, a little bit quicker. So I do not have, with the technology that I have on my camera or even the camera that's filming right now, all my cameras have an HDMI output. So unfortunately, I won't be able to take advantage of the SDI connection. So next, I'd like to talk about the compact size and weight. So both the transmitter and the receiver both weigh at 160 grams, which is very nice lightweight. And if you will notice over here, there is no need and there's nowhere to install an antenna on both either the transmitter or the receiver, because the antennas are basically, I guess, just built in right inside over here. We are already pretty familiar with the camera rig. We just need to get a little bit more familiar with the director's rig. So as far as powering the 600S, as I mentioned, I'm going to be taking advantage of the USB Type-C port, which is the 5 volts. So what I've done here is I just mounted a V-mount battery, and at the top of the V-mount battery there is a USB port. So I just simply connected a USB to USB-C, and now I have power to the receiver. As far as HDMI, I have the HDMI output from the receiver going to the director's monitor input. So now I need to power on the monitor. So what I've done here from the V-mount battery, I just simply connected a D-tap to DC cable. As far as the receiver goes, we have it just simply mounted over here with this little magic arm, swivel arm via the 1/4-inch threads at the bottom of it. I just positioned it over here at the top because I figured that way there's not going to be any kind of obstruction of the receiver receiving the signal from the transmitter. So overall, this is what it is. Let's go ahead and power everything on. What I'm going to do is go ahead and start with the camera. So I'm going to go ahead and power on the camera. I'm going to go ahead and power on the monitor, and I'm going to go ahead and power on the 600S transmitter. So there it is. This rig is all being powered on right now, and let's go ahead and power on this rig. So let's go ahead and power on the monitor. Okay, so powering it on, let's go ahead and turn on this receiver over here, the 600S, and let's see how it just simply connects and how long it's going to take right now. Have a look myself. You can see the little SHIMBOL logo over here. So guys, I will mention there is also a SHIMBOL app that we can connect to with the 600S, and therefore now not only are we going to be able to view what we are filming here on a director's monitor, we are also going to be able to view on a mobile phone. Currently the app is only working for iPhones, iOS, so you can get that on the Apple Store, which I have done. I simply connected my iPhone to the app, the SHIMBOL app, and I just kind of now have an extra monitor to view and a couple of other features that we're going to look at in the app that we might want to take advantage of. So guys, as you can see, the video signal from the camera is wirelessly being transmitted over here to my director's rig, from the transmitter now to the receiver, and from my camera now to this monitor. So I can literally just walk around with this monitor and I can kind of just view whatever the camera operator is filming, or vice versa. So just to give you guys an example over here, I'm just going to kind of maybe turn this around on myself. I'm going to flip around my screen over here. Let me go ahead and zoom out, and let me go ahead and adjust the focus. So guys, there's a quick example for you guys on how simple we can power on the devices and connect them, and as I mentioned, we can still connect to a mobile phone app. So let's just briefly do a quick little latency test. Again, this is no scientific latency test. I'm literally just kind of going by eye. Again, I will mention guys, when it comes down to latency, there's going to be a latency between your camera to the monitor, and then from the monitor to the I guess the wireless transmission system. So don't forget, not alone does the transmitter, the wireless system, have its own latency, but then there also might be a latency from the monitor itself. So guys, latency might not be something that we're going to be able to get dead nuts zero latency with this unit. As it says in the manual, there's 80 milliseconds latency. So again, we're going to be able to probably notice that right here by eye. So let's just do a quick brief little test so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Well guys, as you can see, there is a slight delay that we can see with our eye by just simply viewing the monitor over here. If your subject is stationary and you kind of just want to view what is in frame and how the lighting looks, and you just need a wireless monitor to kind of view what you are filming and the focus and the exposure and the LUT and all these kind of things that we can take advantage of, that is fantastic. I'm definitely going to be using the 600S for those type of shots. Alright guys, let's have a closer look at the 600S transmitter. So let's go ahead and simply power it on by the toggle here onto the left hand side. SHIMBOL logo over here. It's going to take a few seconds to boot up. Currently being displayed, you can see we have an OLED display screen here. So starting off on the top right hand corner, you're going to be able to see the resolution that you are shooting at along with the frames per second. So I'm currently shooting at 1080p at 24 frames per second. You can also see right there in the middle of the screen, we are on currently channel 5, and that is what it automatically selected on its own. At the bottom right hand side of the screen, we're also going to see the powering method, which I'm currently again powering via USB. So it is showing me that I'm connected via USB along with the battery life indicator, which is showing that I'm full. On the bottom left hand corner, we simply just have the SHIMBOL text written over there, and on the top left corner we can see the signal range that we currently have right now, which is currently showing that I'm at full bars, nice strong signal. Let's just have a quick peek at these three buttons that we have over here, starting off with the button over here on the left hand side. So if you hold this button here on the left hand side for approximately 4 seconds, what it's going to do is going to take you into the update firmware process, and currently there are no firmware updates for the 600S model. So currently right now I have nothing to do in the update section. So for me to cancel out of this, I'm just going to go ahead and press the middle button here. So I've canceled back out of it. So now if we go ahead and press the far right button over here onto the right hand side, I'm going to go ahead and hold this down for about 3-4 seconds, and as you can see, we have a QR code. This QR code is now going to allow us, once we have downloaded the app here by SHIMBOL, and now we can scan this QR code with the app, and it's going to go ahead and automatically connect. Now once we are done with the QR code, we can simply just press the middle button, and now if we go ahead and long press the middle button for about 3-4 seconds, that's going to take us into the settings. We have settings, message, and back. So basically we can return back to the main screen. So let's go ahead and enter settings by pressing the middle button. So the options that we have here in setting, we have pairing. So if we need to pair the devices, if they did not automatically pair already, we can go ahead and simply enter the pairing mode. If we wanted to scroll down, we're just going to use the toggle here onto the right or to the left, and this one is now language. So if we need to adjust the language, we can do so there. And as far as other settings, that is all we have right there, just pairing and language and back. So that as far as it goes for the settings options. If we go ahead into message, we can click message, and you can see that we have an option here for SSID, and we also have an option here to check out our version. If we go ahead into the version, we can simply see what version that I'm currently running on, which right now I am at V1.2.1, and that is pretty much all that is displayed over here. I'm going to go ahead and go back. So let's just have a closer look at the SSID option, and we'll have a look over here. It shows the Wi-Fi ID along with the password. Okay, so if we need to connect to the ID or the password, we need to get the Wi-Fi information. We can simply do that right there in the SSID settings. So let's go ahead and have a look at the menu here on the receiver, because we do have one extra setting. So let's go and hold down the middle button. That's going to take me into the menu. And now if I scroll down, you notice that I have this setting over here, which is called scan. And that's going to scan the receiver and the transmitter in the environment that I'm in, and it's going to pick the best channel for me, or it's going to tell me the best channels to pick from, the good channels or the bad channels. So let's go ahead and activate it by simply just turning it on, as you see over there. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn the scan on, and so right now it's scanning. It takes a few seconds, but what I really like about this feature is that it organizes the best channels over here on the left hand side, and it also organizes the bad channels over here on the right hand side. So as you can see, between the 12 channels, I have a few to pick from, quite a few to pick from on the good side, and very minimal on the bad side. So that is a nice test that we are just simply performing in the environment wherever you're going to be filming. So now you can adjust the channel on the transmitter. And also I will mention that we cannot adjust the channel over here on the receiver. To adjust the channel, it has to be done on the transmitter itself. So after doing the channel scan on the receiver, and now you may want to change the channel that you are currently on, we can go ahead and just simply press over here the right hand side, and now if we want to change the channel, we can just toggle between the channels that we have here. And again, we have up to 12 channels, and I'm just going to pick the best channel. For an example, let's go with channel 5, because that was showing up on my good list. So I'm just going to go ahead and press enter right over there, and now I'm on channel 5. So after a few seconds, the receiver is going to recognize that I've switched the channel to channel 5, and now we are both on the same channel, and now I'm viewing the image. Well guys, that looks like a wrap for today's video. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you guys learned something along the way. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, let me know down in the comment section down below. As you guys can tell, I'm very impressed with the 600S wireless transmission system here by SHIMBOL. Again, there is minimal delay, but I'm not concerned about that because I'm not going to be controlling focus from the director's rig, especially controlling focus on a moving subject. As far as everything else, the features as the low power consumption, along with the mobile phone app that we can use for iPhone users, along with being able to set up a director's rig like I have, and now my clients cannot be hovering over my back seeing what I'm filming on my camera. They can kind of just see my director's rig maybe set up on a tripod, even connected to a TV. I can connect the 600S to a TV or another type of monitor, whatever you have, as long as it has HDMI or SDI inputs, outputs, etc. You guys already you know how to set it up, how to power it, all the menu, all the features. And again, 600 feet is way further than what I need as this unit is rated for, along with the budget, because it is budget friendly considering what we get, the SDI inputs, along with the app, the HDMI, the low power consumption. And another simple cool feature that I do like is the USB Type-C power option, and along with the no noise that we're going to get from this unit, because again there is no fan installed. So one little thing that I would like to see possibly improved in a future model, or even maybe in a firmware update if it's possible, I just like to have a brighter display screen, because I notice when we are outdoors and it's a little bit bright environment, the display screen is a little bit hard to see. So overall guys, I'm really impressed. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, let me know down in the comment section down below, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Peace.